Well, as the program says, my second talk here, which was prepared mostly by Bill Shaw with a lot of support from Dave Baldry and Heather Kaminsky, is on oil sands, the capture of fines in the sand deposits in the oil sands. This is important because reducing fluid fine tailings production is important, and fines capture in sand, of course, is perhaps the low-hanging fruit that has been least exploited by the industry. COSIA recently completed a comprehensive study to review relevant case records, to define fines capture or fine storage per unit volume of beach in the existing tailings facilities. And they looked at 3 ponds and did an analysis of those. This was to enhance an understanding of the processes controlling the capture in the sand beaches. And the other thing was to review the available model tools that we have to assess how they predict capture and see if they appropriately address the operational factors, and to discern the operational enhancements that might be available to increase fines capture in beach deposits. The study indicates that in these 3 ponds that were analyzed, the captures ranged from 60% of the fines processed in the extraction plant up to 80%. The MFT in the pond is the highest capture zone. In other words, a disproportionate amount of the fines that are captured in the sand structure occurs as the beach goes into the MFT zone. The way this was done is that the core samples were taken from the depositional environments, and the depositional environments were determined from the history of operations for the period. And there on the right you see the different samples from the beach above water, the beach below water, and the beach below MFT, with increasing fines content in those core samples. These are the grain size distribution curves for each of the depositional environments, and as the charts will show when you get a little closer look at them, the fines content and the variance of the fines content increases as we go down the beach from cell construction to produce the shell of the pond into beach above water, beach below water, and ultimately beach below MFT, where we have much higher fines capture and also much greater variation. So of interest would be, how can we control the operations in a manner that we're at the higher levels of capture and take advantage of this phenomenon. Here's a pie chart that shows you the distribution of where the fines are on a conventional tailings pond. Beaching into the MFT results in substantial fines retention in the deposits. That's the 28% in the purple down on the left. And without this depositional environment, more fines would be released into the fluid zone and would have to be treated by other means. Therefore, we have a huge economic incentive to increase the capture in the upper portions of the beach. So beach above water, or as we call it, BAW, or subaerial deposition. The beaches above and below water capture only about 30 to 50% of the fines in the deposits analyzed. Alternative strategies to increase the fines in beach above water and beach below water, one would be to add amendments such as flocculant to the whole tailings line, the coarse tailings lines, and cause the fines to stay in the voids. Secondly, we can co-dispose fine tailings and coarse tailing streams. Third, develop layouts that maximize fines capture, including beaches that are contained. Or to add MFT to coarse tailings, either the whole tailings or cyclone underflow. And we sometimes refer to that as MFT spiking. The higher fines storage in the beaches can be achieved by increasing fines to sand and total slurry density. These charts show that both of these things occur. On the chart on the left, I think we were at about a total of 50% fines content in the tailings line, 50% solids content, And on the right, we're at 55% solids content. And also, as the fines in the feed increase, the fines content of the beaches also increases. So sometimes there's confusion about capture, where people talk about percent capture, which can go down. But having greater fines concentration in the tailings lines and having greater fines concentration in the water phase of the tailings lines always increases the concentration in the beach deposits, which is what we want to do. Contained beaching can also increase the capture compared against the long open-ended beaching, and also loose uncompacted contained beaching and allowing the fines to settle in the cell will further enhance fines capture. Here's some spiking tests, and the chart on the left shows that when the fines concentration was increased by adding MFT to the tailings line, the fines in the beach deposits also increased. This is probably an understatement of the benefits, because remember, we're calling everything below 44 microns fines, and when we bring MFT back in, we're bringing a very much clay-enriched fines content. So the benefit is probably greater than shown. As you can see, the cell construction with these high fines tailings deposit is not quite as easy as doing it with nice clean sand, as shown in the figure in the lower corner. So beach construction does not face the same limitation as cell construction, where we've got, tracking cats running around in the active disposal area. So opportunities exist to place high fines deposits in a contained environment, such as infilling mined-out pits, and placement of high fine slurries is generally unconstrained during the winter beaching operations when it's all beach operation. So in conclusion on this section, fines capture in the beaches is a function of the depositional environment. Fines capture in cells and beaches can be increased. It can be increased with normal operations by increasing the slurry solids content in the tailings lines, and more consistently controlling that density. Contained beaches can be used rather than long open-ended beaches. Spiking or co-disposal with TT can also be used where practical. But we need to get a better definition of operability limits. So spiking limits need to be established for cell and beach construction for different cell and beach level rise rates. Obviously, if we're going to increase the fines content and slow down the drainage path, then that has to be woven into the planning of dike construction and so on. Thank you very much.